What up? This is Chris, and today I'm going to share a piece of this book that I'm reading that I found interesting. It's called Trauma and Recovery, written by Judith Herman. Traumatic countertransference. Trauma is contagious. In the role of witness to disaster or atrocity, the therapist at times is emotionally overwhelmed. She experiences to a lesser degree the same terror, rage, and despair as the patient. This phenomenon is known as traumatic countertransference. So that just made me think of this nonprofit organization that I'm working with currently. And what they do is take in the homeless population, so homeless youth, and the ages range from 8 to 25. The group that I am working with specifically is from 18 to 25 years old. Now, I started working with them this past month, and what I found was very interesting. Actually, the reason why I'm reading this book is to try to understand the homeless population on a more in-depth level, because I never understood it. I never really truly understand why people are homeless. And I think after reading this book, it's the fact that there's a lowest common denominator in all of these things that are going on. And I think it can all stem back from some form of trauma that has happened within childhood. Or if you want to even take it a step before that, the birthing process, which stresses that mother had on herself, which went into her womb and affected the baby that came out of it, right? So you look at beyond that, childhood, youth, I believe it all stems from somewhere. The addiction, the addiction to drugs, alcohol, sex, instant gratification, trying to get your mind off of yourself in a lot of ways. I started working with this group, and I was very fearful before going in. Like, I love martial arts. I absolutely love it. And I just had so much doubt because I know what it means to take on that traumatic countertransference, where you take on somebody's energy to such a degree where it almost becomes your own in a lot of ways. And it's like, how do you become receptive to somebody, let them in, open your heart, stay open, don't close off, right? Because you don't want to get hurt, but you stay open to them and they stay open to you. And it's more of this dance that's happening, this transfer of energy, this communication that's happening without you even need to say anything. And what's very interesting that I found is that there needs to be some systems at play before you walk in and work with people that are coming from a darker, heavier energy, a darker background, a traumatic background. The reason why I got into this work, working with this nonprofit and pairing it to the studio that I currently work at and train at, is because I very much resonate with the kids that are going there. I feel what they are going through. I understand it to such a deep level because I have been through fragmented parts of what they've been through. I get it. And with that, I know how much that energy can rip you down. Even if you're just the mentor, or even if you're just the counselor or the teacher, it will get to you if there's no intention set, there's no boundaries, there is nothing at play on your end, and you get home and you're just like, man, why am I feeling so heavy? Why am I taking this home with me? It's not mine to take in, but you still take it in. And what really bothered me during my internship when I was working with these kids. So it was a rehabilitation center for youth, getting them off of drugs or rehabilitating them just back into normal society, because some of them were suicidal, some of them had sex addictions, alcoholism, they addicted to drugs, whatever. And I took in a lot of that energy. So I was very timid in working with the homeless. Hey! That was a really loud bark. It scared me. I was really timid on working with them just because I don't want to take that in. Like, I have so much of my own shit to deal with, and I don't need anybody else's. But although I still want to remain open. So how am I doing this? How am I going about teaching basically 7 days a week, and then right now working with this group once a week? I think it might be 2 times a week in the near future, just because so many kids are interested in martial arts and mindfulness practice, and that's essentially what I'm pairing, is mindfulness and martial arts. I think it all has to do with the morning routine. It's huge. It's so huge. It's so critical. I get up at 4 or 5 a.m. almost on a daily basis. I mean, sometimes I sleep in. I'm human, you know what I mean? But like, I try to make it a habit to get up at 4 or 5 a.m. I do EFT, emotional freedom technique. So it's the tapping. You could look it up. There's a really cool guy that does it. His name is Brad Yates, I believe, on YouTube. So you can tap with him. And it's basically the same points that you would hit when you're getting acupuncture done. This is called acupressure. Next thing that I do is meditation. I downloaded the Headspace app and I meditate anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, just given the time that I have before I go into work or train or whatever. The next thing I do is the Wim Hof breathing. And then you hold your breath at the end after so many reps of breathing. After that, and there's an app for that too. It's called the Wim Hof Method. You can download it for $1 to $2, something like that. It's fairly cheap. I get into the cold plunge after that. I turn the water very, very cold, almost as cold as it can get. And I sit in there for 5 minutes. I can't emphasize this enough, how much different I feel working with these kids compared to the internship. I mean, the internship, I was breaking down at night. Like, it was so heavy. I was just like, I can't deal with this. It's too much, you know? And now it's so different because I'm able to truly receive their story and take them in as a person energetically, but not keep it in here, not have it bottled up in here. It's not mine to deal with. I'm able to let it go. So the morning practice is very, very, very difficult. But I have to say, it will change your life if you do that, especially if you work with people. I believe having a mindfulness practice, if you're doing anything, working one-on-one with people, or even for yourself, it's just so healthy to do and have that solitude time for yourself every single day. And this solitude time lasts anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour sometimes, if I really get into it. Another thing that I found you can do, I'm going to wrap up pretty soon here, and this is really important, as I'm talking to the kids and I feel that I'm overwhelmed with their energy or the heavy denseness that they're giving me, I'll just cross my arms for a little bit. Just cross my arms, chill, I'll nod. I'll listen. And then boom, center myself, get right back where I need to be. Because this is protecting you from what, right? This is a very protected position. So a confident, open person, right? Chest out, shoulders up, neck is nice and straight in line with the spine. A good form of protection, crossing your legs, crossing your arms, trying to be as open as possible, but knowing that you are still human and you could only take so much in. That's so important to understand. You could only take so much in, right? Just breathe, breathe, breathe. Get back into it. Center myself. Deep breath. Boom. Get rerouted, and we're right back on track. This has helped so much for me. I hope it helps for you. I know that a lot of counselors, a lot of psychiatrists, a lot of coaches, a lot of physical therapists, they get burnt out. And I think a lot of this burning out that you would say is for one, not having your mind right before you even go into work, and two, taking on that client's energy that's not yours to take in. It is truly not. I hope you see the difference in this. I hope this makes sense. If you have any comments, drop them down below. Any questions, drop them down below. I'm more than happy to answer and communicate with all of you watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like, and until next time, I'm out.